Okay, welcome back from the brief break. I'm going to check something here and make sure the next session, I believe this is going to be your PowerPoint for the following session. So here we are on the last section and the last presentation of Demo Camp. So Katie, I think you can take it away.
Thank you, Jason, and thanks for those of you who stuck around or are coming in for this last demo camp. So I am Katie Pearson. I'm the project and data manager for the Symbiota Support Hub. Symbiota is a CMS and also kind of like a mini biodiversity aggregator, and I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So here is one of our portals. This is a consortium of Bryophytobaria. So Symbiota portals are web-based interfaces, websites, whatever you want to call them, and they kind of serve two functions. One is a biodiversity aggregator, so you can take data from different sources, put them all in the same website, and you can search them all in one interface. So you can see we have probably about 150 collections in this one Symbiota portal. You can search through all of them. You can search through some of them. You can search based off of taxonomy, locality, collector information, etc. But it also serves another, Symbiota portals also serve another function wherein they are actually like a collection management system built in for any of the collections that choose to use it. So for example, the Arizona State University Bryophytobarium does all their data entry right there in the portal, whereas maybe the Smithsonian, they do all their transcriptions somewhere else, but then they send a copy of their data to the Bryophyte portal. And that way, Bryophyte biologists will go into this portal and get all the data that they need, or lichenologists will do this with the lichen portal, or we have lots and lots of different portals based on taxonomy or region, and they can be these centralized portal communities of practice. So one highlight I wanted to do today before I show you kind of just the ins and outs of Symbiota is how really easy it is to publish from a Symbiota portal to other aggregators. So one of the main strengths of Symbiota portals and using Symbiota as a collection management system is that it's really easy to get data in and really easy to get data out, which can be kind of rare. So I have queued up for us today this collection, the Bryophytobarium at the UC Santa Cruz. And let me log in real quick so that I can do what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so I'm going to refresh this. Here we go. So I've queued up this collection today who told me, yeah, we would like to start publishing to GBIF. So what they have already done is they have registered as an institution in GBIF, and they're also publishing data from a bunch of different other Symbiota portals. For example, they're publishing all their vascular plant data from the CCH2 portal. If I go down here, and I click on CCH2. Actually, I'll probably go to their specific collection here. This is where their vascular plant data is coming from. And then they also want to send their bryophyte data. They also want to send their lichen data. So those can come from their respective portals. And then they will be listed. Let me go back to that publisher here. They'll be listed as separate data sets in GBIF. So people could download just that data set or do searches that include that data set. So what I will do here is I'm going to live show you how we publish to GBIF. So I'm going to open up my collection or administration control panel. Hopefully zoom in so that you can see what's going on here. This is what it looks like for a logged in user with administrative permissions. There's a data editor control panel and then an administration control panel. And only an administrator can do what I'm about to do. We go into this tool called the Darwin Core Archive Publishing. And if I just click on this, it's going to say, here's where your Darwin Core Archive already exists. And do you want to create or refresh it? I have created or refreshed a Darwin Core archive, and it's available at this link right here. So it's very, like I said, easy to get data right out of a Symbiota portal. I have to go into my metadata, and I have to enable publishing to GBIF. But after that, and I go back to my administration control panel, I just have to put the name or the identifier for my publisher into this GBIF key. I'm going to validate. And then I'll have to ask GBIF for permissions to publish this data set directly to GBIF, but I've already done this. So I'm just going to click Submit Data. And it's going to talk to GBIF. And there it is. There's my data set. So it's going to take maybe 15 minutes to a half an hour before the actual occurrences show up. But you can see that it's already created a data set. And it might not show up under here quite yet because it still has to load all that data in. But eventually it's going to list 8 data sets under here. And it's going to list all the occurrences. It's going to have all the metadata that it derived directly from the Symbiota portal. So all of this information is going to be what shows up on this data set here. But that was it. It was like 3 clicks and my data is in GBIF in a couple of minutes. Oh, oops, I can also download a Darwin Core archive just like that. And one of the really slick things that you might have seen when I popped over to their CCH2 or their vascular plant collection is that there's this little widget here that says how many citations this particular data set has been involved in. And that's because we have embedded, if you publish your data set from GBIF, then we've embedded this awesome little widget that will track how many citations using GBIF DOIs are using your data set. So if I clicked on this widget, and this is a publicly accessible, you can see I'm not even logged in. You could go to this, click on it, it'll take you to the GBIF page, and you'll be able to see all of the GBIF mediated citations. So that's really cool because now on your public page that you could send anyone to, it lists the citations. They don't even have to know what GBIF is. They can still be using this specific regional portal in this case. There's also collection statistics that you can refresh every once in a while, and they're refreshed every time you create a new Darwin Core archive. And those will list how many specimen records you have, how many specimens are georeferenced, et cetera. So once your data are published to, let's just go back here, published to GBIF, you can see this has already started tracking my citations. It's not very impressive yet because that was 1 minute ago. But once you have your data published to GBIF, it's very easy to republish your data to GBIF. So sometimes people come to me and they're like, oh, my data's not very clean. I don't want to publish to GBIF quite yet. Once you create a pipeline, fixing your data and then refreshing your data is 1 click. I mean, once you're in the tool, so maybe 2 clicks. So for example, if I went into my occurrence management and I'm going to administer this particular collection. This is the university where I live. And let's say I come into my record and I want to do a custom search for some specific specimen that I know there's a typo on, or maybe I go into the collection management tools and I use our data cleaning tools, which include a taxonomic cleaning tool, a duplicate catalog number finder that has the ability to merge records if you want. And then there's also a geography cleaning tool. So you can find all of those U.S.A, U.S, United States of Americas. You can squash those all into one single value. Say I did that. Then I'm like, okay, now I have a much cleaner data set that I can push to GBIF. You just go into that same tool. And, oh, in this case, I haven't even published to GBIF. So here we go. I'm showing you, I'm publishing 2 data sets to GBIF within 10 minutes. That's how easy it is. But I could make my changes, then I go back in here, and all you need to do is click Create Refresh Darwin Core Archive, And all those changes that you just made, they go straight into GBIF. And because they're associated with that unique identifier that has been created and is kept stable in the portal, then those changes are going to be applied to the same records, and it's really seamless. So a couple of other of my favorite parts about using Symbiota portals is that you have the ability to access the Symbiota portal from anywhere there is internet. So, I can be at a conference and managing my data right there, wherever I am. And then you can also give access to students, technicians, volunteers, and there are 2 different levels of access that involve editing your data. There's editing. An editor can only view this control panel here. And then an administrator can access all of these control panels. So a data editor cannot do batch edits. A data editor cannot fiddle with your GBIF publishing. A data editor can just do edits. And they too can just access their the portal from any web browser. So I'll show you what the data entry page looks like. It's relatively simple, and let me zoom back out so you can get the whole picture. What a beautiful specimen picture. This is what the data entry page looks like. I can have my image float with me if I am wanting to go all the way down this form. You have the ability to add multiple determinations. You have the ability to add more images. There are lots of batch tools that you can use. You have the ability to add linked resources, which can include associated occurrences. So that means these could be specimens that are in some other platform, such as Arctos or Specify, and you can link them directly to saying, like, this is the host plant of this bryophyte, for example. And then in the occurrence data, there are duplicate matching tools. So as soon as you enter the collector number and date, it'll be like, hey, I found a duplicate for you. Do you want to import all of the specimen data related to that, or just some of the specimen data, maybe just the locality data? That's really handy in botanical collections because we have a lot of duplicates. And what's really neat is that it doesn't search only within your collection. It searches within all the collections across the entire portal. So the more collections that are contributing to a portal, the easier it is to do data entry, because you might have a duplicate in the Smithsonian or Harvard or some other really big collection. We also have some built-in tools. I'm not going to click on this because it'll open a new window and then my live stream people won't see it. But this is a Google mapping tool. And then over here, this is the geolocate tool. So geolocate is a really powerful georeferencing application, and it's built right in here. So you could georeference using geolocate, click import coordinates, and it will import the coordinates and all the metadata associated with. So the georeferenced remarks, georeference, datum, by, etc. There are also some neat data entry kind of normalization tools. So if I started typing in here, then it's going to link to the taxonomic thesaurus. So, when you have that list of 17 associated taxa, you could actually just use a drop-down list instead of having to type them all out. And the same thing goes with the scientific names. Those are linked to a taxonomic backbone, taxonomic thesaurus, so that they can have fewer misspellings, hopefully. Same thing with country, state, county. Those are also drop-down lists. So those are just a few of my favorite features in Symbiota portals, and I'm happy to take any questions. And I'll be at the data help desk a lot this week, so if you have any other questions, just drop by or find me.
For the duplicate check, what kind of methods do you use? I mean, do you just check the catalog numbers, or is there any other way? I mean, how do you confirm that it's the really duplicate?
The duplicate uses the collector last name, collector number, and collection date, because those are usually botanical true duplicates. But if it finds a match based off of collector last name and date, but not number, it will also say, hey, we think we found a potential matching duplicate event. Do you want to just import the locality data instead of all of the data? And I think that's all the time I have, but feel free to ask me more questions.